Welcome to the Easy Gamers podcast. My name is Sean Duncan, also known as TheNinjaGrimm, and today we are joined with the Nimble Vicious, also known as man trying to keep his insides on the inside, Matthew Ship.
How you guys doing today? Dude, that's hilarious.
And we're also joined with another Matt, known as Checkmate, and also man who does everything his woman tells him to do.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
All right. So today's discussion is about digital distribution coming fully to the console market. I had you guys maybe hopefully do some research on the topic, and hopefully we can share our opinions about the subject. I'm going to start by saying, by quoting an article here that I have that was posted by a website called Thurrott. I don't know how to say that, but it says, in addition to new consoles, there will be a disc-only disc-to-digital program that's coming from Microsoft. So if a new console does come out that has no disk drive at all, they're actually going to be offering a service where you can return your discs for a digital copy. The goal of the new console is to lower the price point of the hardware. Currently, it costs about $299 to buy an Xbox One. Microsoft is looking to lower the price by as much as $100. So if you can get an Xbox One for $200 that doesn't have a disk drive, they see that as a value to the customer. Basically, I'm just wondering what people think about consoles moving in the direction of, say, how PCs are treated today. This panel, we're all PC gamers, so this actually comes from a perspective of people who are already PC gamers. But not to say that we haven't console gamed in our life. Matt, you know, me and you have been on PS3 for a decade.
Plenty of games played on disc, and it was just until recently we started getting into downloads on console. We were buying a few of them.
I'd like to hear maybe some pros and cons to this coming to console. I'll just give a couple pros from my side. Having a console that is digital only, I think it kind of feeds into the culture of today of the Netflixes and the online, streaming services. Nobody wants to leave the house. It's just a little more convenient.
With all the digital stuff, I think it's just kind of the evolution of technology. We came from floppy disks, went to CDs, DVDs, Blu-rays, and now it's digital. If you look at a computer, I mean, how many people actually use disk drives anymore for anything? Everything from Windows to Office, games, everything's downloaded now. So the actual evolution of a console, it completely makes sense to actually rid themselves of that CD drive. I mean, it's freeing up space for cost, like you said. A CD drive's pretty bulky. I mean, you can fit a bigger motherboard, more RAM, better graphics card, all these other things that are slightly more important now than I think a disc, which because everything's being digitalized now anyways, it's kind of irrelevant.
I definitely agree. The new age happening, I think the only con I see out of that is, I guess, take nostalgia of console gaming and game releases. I guess as times change, older people will hold the dear, even though they're still more recent with the times and we become lazy. But I think I think taking out the fact of going to those midnight launches, it is dying, and it used to be fun to do. Like that's where the community would meet together and you could exchange names. And
that's definitely something that I take from it in terms of a con. I have been such like a hoarder of physical media. You get a new box and you open it up and you have the disc and the artwork.
It's a new present, man. You read the instructions. Sometimes you get the posters, dude. You live for the posters.
There's something. Yeah, I remember buying Borderlands Game of the Year edition, and it came with a poster. And I remember buying it used from GameStop, and it had a poster in it. And then I returned the game and got a different copy which came with a different poster, and it was like it did that on purpose because I was so excited about having those posters. So missing out on that type of experience is definitely considered a negative in the people who want to keep that medium alive.
But think of it like this though. For example, for Fallout 76 that I got for us, it still actually had the box art, the steel case, everything that actually came with 76. So it almost kind of comes down to is how valuable is that disc for you? because you can still get all that other stuff, right? Yeah.
The disc was the thing. But I mean, as kids, younger generations, they're like you were saying, it's the turn of the century to where we're going digital. And they're growing up with more of the instant streamings and learning how to use platforms and different technology. So the digital download is going to be a faster growing thing no matter what it is. And it's just, like I said, it's going to be a nostalgia thing that's gone versus actual things. I think it'd be dumb to sell a box still like, oh, here, let's give you the case, even though it just comes without it.
Have anything in it. See,
Yeah.
76.
when I opened up, because Matt got me the game for Christmas, and when I opened it up, it was like, I was like, cool, there's like this cool like metal case, and I open it up and there's just nothing in it. There's a place for a disc and it's just not there. And then the other case that was like plastic and cheapo, looked like a display item, that one had like the actual fake CD piece of paper with the game code on it. So I totally get that the box art is important, but it's only as important as if you have a disc inside.
Because that came with the art itself too on the cover. It's like the album cover, It's like,
yeah, but it's empty.
But still, I think you have to remember that if you're looking at discs and you're saying, oh, I kind of missed the disc and all that sort of stuff, you're looking at like rose-colored glasses. I mean, most games nowadays push 60, some of them 80, some of them 100 gigabytes.
It's a waste of material. Like I seen a picture on Facebook, for instance, of like floppy disks it was like 500 megs of floppy disk, and it looked like the Leaning Tower, and someone had a flash drive with a terabyte on it. So, I mean, of course it's a change. No one's saying they're missing floppy disks. The disk comes with a generation of gaming, not versus.
I think to a certain extent, though, as soon as like places like GameStop came around, right? You'd pick a game off the shelf, there would be a case and then empty, and then half the time they'd have to put the case back and they'd just give you a CD. So it's not something that's particularly new, not having like box art and things though. So what's the difference between that and digital downloads?
Well, the difference between digital downloads is you can, let's say it went fully digital, but you could still buy the digital copy in the store. Like how long is it before they stop offering any kind of box in general anyways? Like if you download it at home through Steam, or you can get a lot of games on the PlayStation and the Xbox, and it doesn't come with anything. It's just, you just download it. So you're not getting anything except the game, but instead you're still paying full price.
Or you find a download for it. I mean, it's already there.
Let's, as Matt points out here, let's get on our last thoughts about this. I'm going to give my pros and cons, and then you guys go ahead. The pros, in terms of them doing this, I just think it's super convenient, and this is coming from someone who's a PC gamer now, who is fully involved. I don't have a CD drive on my computer. I think it's super convenient, and it does cut down on cost. I think that cost should be trickled down to the consumer in terms of cheaper hardware and cheaper games. And the cons for me are, just this comes from the nostalgia factor. Cartridges back in the day with Nintendo and Atari, Super Nintendo, whatever, you kind of like having that. That's one of the biggest things for me, is just the physical media.
Yeah, I mean, if I was to list off pros and cons, to be honest, I don't really have a lot of cons with going digital. I think way the CD and stuff is kind of in the past, and even the nostalgia factor is like you're still looking at it with rose tinted glasses, right? I mean, CDs get lost, they get damaged, whatever. And digital, you have it forever. You have a CD key. If you lose the key, you email support and they find your receipt. So I think if you go digital, the only way you can go is with improvements. You're taking out CD drives. Developers only have to focus on the digital media. They don't have to worry about making a CD or getting the suppliers all the CDs. That cost saving is actually going then into the development of the game. And while it may only be a couple % of the development of the game, I think it's going to have its pros.
I agree with, pretty much the subject of losing the nostalgia, but times are changing. The only thing I could say bad about the digital is that you're going to be at the mercy of fixed prices of digital content versus like open market of PC being digital. Like you're going to get far better deals on digital content from PC versus a company such as Sony and Xbox being a fixed market of digital. So, I mean, the pricing still might be high for the digital copy. at a point, you know, PCs might be coming more around, and I don't know. We'll see on it.
You know, that's another thing that actually does come to mind, is that having a used or a physical copy allows you to trade it in for some value, and digital downloads don't have any value unless, you know, these types of systems incorporate some kind of trade-in policy where if we allow you to delete this game from your library, we'll give you like some sort of credit or something like that, like a small credit that allows you to purchase something else in the future. Everybody's telling me to shut up, so I'm going to do that. Thanks for listening, everybody. You know, like, comment, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Let's play some video games, dude. Turn it off.